and we are going to play another one of these Dream Team courses, and this one is from Babybull, and this is Crepe, Myrtle Creek, even if that word means something very different, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, no worries, Dylan. Great to catch you, and like delighted that you're around for this one. Right, Crepe Myrtle Creek. We have got something on the form, say like blue tees. Pin 1, all default conditions. That's not how this works. We play all pins. Course is designed to be similar to a Muni, but the key features is the exaggerated bunkers and bushy mounds. Playing close to bunkers and mounds on your shots gives angles on the following shots. Excellent, we like that. Later, Wayne, thank you very much for the raid. Appreciate that. And also targeting the medium, like tougher CC elite sort of area. Okay, so remind myself I'm playing blue, aren't I? Yeah, great. And we're going to go for pin 2. We're going to pointedly ignore him telling me to play pin 1. Didn't say anything about winds. And we are in Boreal, so terrain doesn't matter. Alright, Babybull does a variety of different things. First off, I am, from a judging playthrough point of view, delighted that I did not have to play the treehouse thing, because I would have struggled with that one. There's lots of people who would have liked that. It doesn't necessarily fit my eye that well. I think that's about as nice as I can put it, isn't it? Right. Oh, we have a big old clubhouse and a Crepe Myrtle tree thing. Oh, we do have a big clubhouse. This is compensating for something. Jeez. Okay. And then what do we got? We got some really bushy sorts of things. Boreal stuff. Lots of water. Interesting. Ben hates fun. Yeah, let's go with that. Interesting stuff. Okay, so we used bushy mounds all the way through. Got a few thoughts on those from the little I've seen so far. And interesting green shapes and things like that. Very green, no rocks, which is un-Babybullish. We've got some custom bridges, which look good. Right, let's give this a play. Okay, so I know he's been really working on the strategy stuff for the last couple of games, last couple of courses. Straight away, I think I get what we're going for. I think you've used, and this will be a pain. I think you've used too many of the small bushes, and they kind of look like lots of tiny bushes rather than one big sprawling one. So I think generally mixing in two types of bushes generally works better. Where am I looking? This fella here. Mixing him in would have worked really nice. Yeah, we can't appease Petty with these non-curvy bridges. Strategically, actually, what they do is, I think they give you some nice kind of custom sort of bunker lips. Work well. I am less of a fan of the little islands of bushes in the middle. I think I've just always found them distracting to the shape. Like, I think you kind of really want to just see the top line. That's it. So these two, I think the little principal's nose sort of thing work really well. This one just feels a bit more cluttered because of the little islands. This one I would definitely lose here. I would definitely lose here. Some giant pines. Petty is going to be calling with the heights of trees and things as well. And green slopes make sense with everything else around it. So yeah, the more we can play over to the right. So actually really good bunker layering as well. And true to form, we hit a red fast off the first tee and go into a bunker. It seems to be what I'm doing tonight. And the green is big, but fits the slopes you've got on it, and I'd definitely say CC-ish sort of level would make sense. 157, probably just standard 9. No, not with the wind. Ah. That's taken a really weird jump. That's annoying. No light rough is an interesting choice. I think we're wide enough that doesn't really matter. Grab. Yeah. Oh, but then again, I'd say so was Saranac. Ugh, balls. I think I would have liked you to do something a little more with this land, just short. Even if it's just burying a couple of trees so it goes a bit browner. I think maybe you've tried to do it, but Boreal is just a bitch in this game and goes grey and stuff. To be honest, the thing I would have done that I think would have made this a lot easier for you, if you change the theme to autumn and use exactly the same trees and stuff as we've got, you'll get this land going to a nice brown colour. It looks super natural, or countryside, either or. Rather than Boreal, I just find in this game is really hard to handle with this stuff. It can look great, but it's just very volatile. Yeah, same thing with the mound. Like, because of the amount of little bushes, I feel it just looks a bit. It looks unnatural. Babybull, good to see you, buddy. Boreal was a real challenge. Well, good for doing it. Like, it is. That's what we do. What else have I got on this one? You've got a second pin in a row that's kind of tucked on a frontier and then dropping back. Which, I don't know, I think you're okay with. But just wouldn't want that to be too common. I'm liking the simplicity of this one though. I think I'd have probably brought this bit of planting in just a bit closer, just to close this side off a touch more. And maybe something over here. Just short. I think the more you can push people's eye this way, the better. But oh, that is not the fast I wanted. Hey, bushy things. Hey. Yeah, probably alright. Again, nice little waterway that I think gives you some really big long views and is going to anchor the course a bit as well. 300 yards, drivable. I am enjoying your development with greens. This little spine's great. You've now got 3 greens in a row though where you've gone frontier, dropping off. Now it's doing it in slightly different ways each time, but you are doing roughly the same thing each time. Do enjoy this hole though. Like, this is really simple. It's posing one simple problem. Oh, I think they had to run away. You know what, buddy? I really appreciate that you have just given us a fairway with nothing else, and you're just saying you want to hit and go at it, and there's issues there, or you want to lay back, and if so, how far back do you want to lay out? This is a ton of restraint, and I really appreciate it. Let's go to here. Can't even hit the fairway. I'm so bad at partials. Oh, well, I completely overthought that one. This is great. Love this hole design. Sit now. Sit hard. Damn it. That is still not in. I'm making an absolute mess of this course. Of those 3, I would say holes 1 and 2 didn't need the front back green. Hole 3 did. Would have changed one of 1 or 2. Probably 1. Bit hogsbacky. Bit hogsbacky. Look at the guy learning. Love to see this. And like, the minimalism of hazards is really good. Your bushes are not helping you here in that the angle of this bunker and the bushes make it a harder sight line to show off the tee, because you're coming in at this angle rather than looking this way. That bunker looks great from here. From over here, less so. Balls back. Yeah, I see what you did there. It's a great sight line. Just really clean. Actually, the more I'm seeing it, the more I'm appreciating, like, you've not put anything down by the waterside, and it's really easy to clutter that. I think you could have used a few little bits of grasses or something here. I would have also probably treed up this area a little bit more to really close in your view, but good. It'd be really nice to hit a perfect. I knew I didn't hit it with that one either. Oh, good man for making me kick out and miss the fairway. Because that's bravery as well. You worry that people won't like that. You know what, I think I'm confident calling this already your best course in terms of golf. Like, you've got more good holes here already. I did play his last one. I played the floating treehouse monstrosity. You don't hate the bushes? Eh, I don't hate them, I'm a bit ambivalent on them. I did play the floating treehouse thing, and there's more good holes on this course than there were on the entirety of that course. It was a bit gimmicky. This one doesn't rely on big carries or like, yeah. That's a really good design. Like that one a lot. This is more the sort of hole that happened on the last course, where it's just a bit video gamey. And I get that's what we're doing, but I don't really understand why these two bunkers are here. Let people hit into the water. Or hit through. Did you? Interesting. I really like the tiny green. Because that's going to encourage us to go for it, because then we have a shorter shot in. Oh, I overthought that again. And we do not have a short shot in. Clear the bushes. I mean, it went through them. Really good green sight. I don't love the tee shot. I really like the approach. Yeah, that's unfortunate, isn't it? But that's a quirk of the game. Like, you'd want those. It's kind of the same with heather. You'd love when we do heathery sort of bunkers, that if you're in there, it's like almost a 2-shot penalty. I think your tree usage is better than on a number of other courses as well. Like, they feel like they belong for the most part. Not sold on this little stumpy fella. There's some nasty pins on this green. I don't think she has ever said that. Please hold on. Oh, okay, we hit the tiniest bit of the backstop. Oh, I've missed that one as well. That wasn't even close. I am kind of getting to the point in the round where I'd like a little bit more variety in the bushes, like blending them in with something else, which you've kind of done here. Like, bringing that in a bit more would help. Ooh. Yeah, I think this is really interesting as well as a green. You've gone front to back again. Just which can be a really nice way of adding strategy. You just want to be careful you're not overusing it. The green kind of off at an angle works really well because the further we go down here, the more we're hitting across it, versus laying up this side and we get kind of more of a look down the green. Go with, well, dreadful, dreadful shot. I'm okay with it not going over the water more because actually you're kind of playing out at it, and I don't think that's really the defence. I think you can do your runoff at the back a bit better, as in I'd bring the green to here, then have it drop off hard. Hey G-Dog, thank you very much, buddy. And you kind of don't really want your fairway runoff to flatten out a little bit at the bottom, I would say. 11 miles an hour. Yeah, oh god, that is an awful swing. Yeah, I'd just flatten at the bottom and generally like check again from behind the green, and like if in doubt, just give a bit more fairway. That's about it. Hey buddy, thank you very much for. Did you have a good stream? I presume you were probably playing most of these courses as well. nearly hold out. Alpine Oasis Par 3, huh? The little ridges are interesting. They are very much adding a lot. We do have another low back plateau, which I think is now up to, 5 in the first 8 holes we've got running towards the back in some way, shape or form. Bit of all shot, nice. Yeah, all good. Just trying to get through some more of these, and I have 0 tempo this evening, so we're seeing all parts of the course. Get in the bunker. Thankfully, that's the right hole to have done this on. Again, good. Like, what I do like is your strategy on this course, compared to previous courses, has not relied on hit it over this bunker or avoid centerline bunker. It's been a mix. There's been some of that, and good on you for drawing on what you know as well. But like, it hasn't been every single hole, which it was on the previous one, if I remember rightly. That's the least deserved birdie ever. None of those 3 shots was good. Right, anyway, moving swiftly on. I do think you could use something to break up the greenery here. This is why it's tough when you go with just green bushes and green trees, because you're missing something in and around here, and usually we'd use some grasses to break it up. I think that's again where autumn would help you, because you could bury some trees, get the brown in there. I think you have tried to do it, or it does. I think you have tried to do it, but Boreal just goes this weird grey sort of cover. Okay, the centerline bushes is interesting. We might just bounce out. Lion's Mouth with the big old bunker. And if we're gonna, let's see. So if we go over there, we get that angle into this pin. If we go over here, we get that angle into this pin. Spine works. I think you can do your Lion's Mouth a little bit more. Tuck the bunker properly into the green. Bring this a little bit forward, bring this a bit forward, and just generally tighten width-wise. You've totally got the concept. Just think you can do the angles a little bit better. Just by actually kind of shrinking the green width. A baby lion's mouth. Yeah, fair. I think the other thing I would also do is just flatten in front of it a little bit, because if we go, okay, it's a short par 5, so we're kind of asking for an aerial approach, but I would quite like it where you've got a chance, if you're on the, let's think about how we might extend our angle play. If you can bounce the ball short and run it on, actually you're making your angle play better, because rather than just being able to land it here and roll on, which imagine we're coming from this angle, I can still land it here and roll on versus land it here and roll on. It's kind of the same result. Whereas if we're saying to land it and roll on, you want to be landing here, well, actually the area of landing on is here, and that's where your bunker's getting in play. So therefore, what I think I would do to improve this one would be if we make this land a bit flatter, because this is going to die and just roll up gently. So I still have to be carrying it all the way to the green to make it work. Whereas if it was almost running down and onto the green, or just flat, to be honest, would work better. I'm hoping that makes sense as an explanation, but I think ground game really does, and long approaches really does exaggerate your angles positively. And that's in the bunker. Whee! I don't think it's necessarily a larger green, because actually the small green is meaning that I have to be super precise to end up near here and not leave a nasty putt. It's more allow people to play short of it and run it onto the green. And by getting the angle right for where they land the ball, that, I guess, increases the effective footprint of the green on that angle that you're using, rather than necessarily increasing the green footprint itself. Hard to word, but okay. I like the concept. I think this fairway is just a bit too wide. But with this wind, it actually plays really interestingly. I do think this fairway is probably a bit too wide, by about 10 yards. If we brought this bunker in 10 yards further, or vice versa, actually I'd probably bring this one in, just for visuals of where our pin is. Because I'd like that to be like really tight and really challenging. Well, yeah, because if you don't have to challenge the hazards, what's the point? And it would also be cool to really think about laying up a little bit. Because if we lay up, then suddenly we're playing not a wedge shot into this. Although I like your little spine that you've used. Later, Matt. I'll catch you later, buddy. I do like the little kind of, this little area of green runoff is really interesting. I hope you've got a pin somewhere around here, just for entertainment's sake. I do think it is another green where you've gone high frontier and then dropping off. So we're now up to 6 in 10 holes. Just worth being aware of these sorts of tendencies. Please, wind, push it back in. Yeah, I agree. We've ended up in the little swale. And again, when I'm saying you've done this a number of times, that's where I'd go back and go, well, which are the ones that really, really work? This one really works. Hole 3 really works. A couple of the others, it's just like it is a feature that's there, but it's not necessarily affecting the strategy of the hole as these ones have done. Still good though. Yeah, I'd just tighten the tee shot on that one. There's a couple of tee shots that haven't quite worked for me on this, but for the most part I'm really liking it. This is a good green site. Again, your two kind of fronting bunkers that you use, I wouldn't say you've overused them, but the way they're mounded and the bushes from distance render really nicely. So it really gives a very clear visual as to where the hole is and what we're trying to hit. There is a shed load of empty space in front of it though that I think you'd want to do something with. But that's something I've mentioned before. I think if you're doing these big grassy mountains, to be honest, put a couple of them in around here. I would break it up. You're kind of going front to back again. We won't count this one, but it is kind of doing that. Although I remember last year dinging you for your greens on Cape, these greens are miles better. So even though you're overdoing one aspect of them, this is much better. That's why you flatten the bottom of your runoff, because I don't think you want that to end up in heavy rough. I could be wrong, but that feels a little punitive for what I'm guessing you would like. I mean, not the most difficult up and down, because short-siding yourself doesn't matter, but yeah, good par 3. I like that one. A few things I would tweak, but alright, going out to the water, and I think the water does bring a really like a good varied element to this, if nothing more than it's a different colour, which seems basic, but it does help. Price dogleg, like the spine, you've used a couple of those on these greens. I think they really work, and I like that it is really subtle. A little green slope at the back works nicely. I remember seeing this green from the flyover I was doing at the start and liking that it was very narrow and very much facing this way, juxtaposition to where the fairway was going. Like, this makes a lot of sense, and for me, like, this sort of stuff is great to see because you have not been doing this in designs before, and I think it makes a hell of a difference. And it's a good little prize dogleg because you haven't used the centerline hazards much. Certainly not as much as on previous courses. Again, thinking of Cape, and therefore when you bring it in, it really matters and it feels distinctive. Really like this little green. Straight. Oh, it nearly missed. Trying your best. I think my main critique is visual. Like and I suspect you knew that making this course. Just, is it going to stand up to something that's very flashy dune planting? But the golf is so good. So compared to the what was it called? Dripstone Falls, that one. Like, this was definitely the right one to publish. We dipping? No, we're not. Down 2, down 3, down 2. Okay, so some land movement there. Skirt these, but actually, do I want to be over to the right? That was not the intended tee shot. Whee! Okay, taking the green out of play. That's fine. not the place to hit a tee shot to. Oh, Jesus, that was me. Dreadful shot, and now I've left myself in a pretty... it's not awful, actually. We do have another green with a high front plateau, so we'll make that 7 and 13. Please grab. I've played another par 5 in just awful play. Yeah, kind of like what I said with Dylan's course. I think you've got more scope to make, like, all 4 flattening this tier and then having our run on coming and then run off here. Just take that third brush on page 1, the top right one, raise up here, make it quite big so your epicenter's over here and like finishes about here, and raise up by like 3 inches, and you'll just get gentle beads going this way and it will make it play so much better. Because I've had a few too many parts that I feel are just no-brainers that actually I'm playing this course as badly as I possibly can. Like, a little more to think about would be great. This one's awesome. Love this. And yeah, I mean, we've got like green running towards the back again, but this is another one where I go, actually, this one makes sense. Super short, and I don't think I want to go for it. Although, I'm trying to talk myself into it. There is a backstop. No, we're going to play this one sensibly. The bunker on the right looks a little busy. On the left even, sorry. That's... yeah, again, I think it's just these little islands. This bit all looks good and will render well from distance. There's a shot. Now sit. And we have an uphill putt. Love this little view here. And this sort of thing, with like your base texture changing and like seeing through here, that's the variance in texture colour that I think this course has been crying out for. Whether you did that with pine straw or like, I mean the natural terrain is preferable. But stuff like that really helps. I really enjoyed that hole. That was a good one. Your short par fours have been really good. This is cool. Another great little green site. Front to back again. Granted. Okay. Yeah, so we could carry it, which actually I think works really well because you have not split fairways much on this course. Out here for the angle, I think. It is also very wide without necessarily always feeling very wide, which again I view as a really positive thing. It doesn't. It's such a pain. That's why I would have changed to autumn, personally. Boreal for me is one of those themes that unless you're going that kind of, oh jeez, that Carbondale look that isn't it a lot of fun to play? I mean, I knew Michael had been watching a lot of the template videos and things as well. There's a ton of that influence coming through on this one. Full mud pit. Don't do that. Yep. See this way? And then again, this one's good because you've gone back to here and actually balls off at the back, which makes distance control really matter. This pin's interesting because you've got that tiny little slope in front of it. Yeah. I mean, I called it way back when, but this is your best course by quite some distance. And you won't... sorry. As far as I'm concerned, because not everyone will say that, because there are very much people who will love the rock work and all the stuff you do really well. And like, I've seen your upcoming one on Twitter, and people will love that. For sure. For me, the golf here is so much better than everything you've done to date. Right. Front to back green again, granted. But tiny little plateau on the front, we love. The like narrow nature. Yeah, I mean, it's not even close. This is the step I was really hoping you would take in this contest. And I love this because I need to play as close to the bunker as possible to open up that tiny little sliver of green. Like, you've really thought about bunker placement, because if I bail out off the right, like, you're giving me all world here. And actually, to be honest, I might even take this fairway even wider and just go, you know what, do you want to play out here? Be my guest. But I can see why you wouldn't. Let's test this angle stuff. We've got a decent tee shot, but it's not perfect. I mean, just nailed the angle. If you're not playing really close to this bunker, you have a really tough shot in. Grab. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, again, the same thing with like the little circle brush, like raise up on this side just to give that gradual slope away, because actually you can see we've got a couple of beads even breaking back, and that would even those out. You don't need, if they're all just generally sloping this way, would help. That's a dreadful part. Yeah, he really has. Absolutely killed it. And then we finished on a par 5, because of course we do. We love finishing on a par 5. Good little segmented green, good chance for a final hurrah. Don't love this bunker placement, because if I'm going this side, I don't feel you've allowed quite enough fairway beyond it. There's enough to the left, but because we're cut off by this water, I'd say either you're moving this fairway bunker back like 10. Yeah, it's more because it came up earlier as something. I do not pick the beads up, but it's just, yeah. No, I guess I do. Yeah, I'd drop this bunker back a little bit, just because you want people to have a chance to hit over it or to play out to this side. And I don't really mind the fairway cutting off here, but actually we can't. There's this whole bit of fairway that I'd say is just totally unusable. I'd probably try to avoid. If we're coming in from this way with the wind pushing us even further, it's a great. I think it's a great sign when the wind really adds to your thinking with the hole, because it shows it's been thought through. So if I'm going in from this side and the wind's pushing me this way, well, suddenly that becomes a much more difficult shot than coming in from this way, where I can bail over here and have the wind bring it round. All of this stuff just adds to options, and I don't really feel comfortable going over here. But we're going to try. Pretty happy with that tee shot. I still think I'd change the bunker placement. Even though you can play that shot, I just don't think that. I'd like that bunker to be 10 yards shorter. I think it would play better. Just because it would function more in tandem with the water, rather than necessarily working against it a lot. Really good closing view. I mean, the clubhouse is a monstrosity, but you know that. It's just giant. Don't drift too much. I think 18's a really good hole. It is just that one bunker position that I would change. I think that green is great to finish on. I like the mounds around it. I think it really brings back in one of your key features with those bushy mounds. I mean, the clubhouse is great. It's just like 3 times too big. But it does allow you to justify having your first tee here and your green here. So maybe that's it. It's entertaining. I'm only joking. I don't care about the clubhouse. Come on, let's finish with an eagle, because I do not deserve -8 on this course. At all. I mean, I've really enjoyed both of those courses tonight. This has been an absolute blast. Babybull, this is your best by a mile. Called it on hole 3. Are there a few things I would change? Yes, I think you overused the same sort of green contour a little bit too much. What else? Not much else. Just that front back sloping green, and I don't think I think we could have broken up colour variation a touch more. And those bushes, I'd have blended them with one other bush, but then I don't know what your meter scenario was. I think just because generally blending the bushes, you get it feeling a bit more like it's one thing, rather than lots of little dotted ones. But that's really cool. I think that's going to do really well, and it'll be that's a really as Joe says, course is great, clubhouse interesting. That's going to give Matt some really good flexibility with matches as well. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting to enjoy that as much as I did. That's put a real smile on my face, because I really enjoy your courses, but this is a proper breakthrough. So really well done. Alright guys, that's going to finish us up for this evening. Thank you very much for popping on in and seeing, and thanks for G-Dog and Wayne for the 2 raids. Great to have all you guys with us, and yeah, 40 people is more than I normally get. Follow along, we do this most nights. Yeah, keep following the contest. Loads of great stuff coming on. Cheers.